to our friends from the media, our esteemed chief guest and honored guests, on this wonderful occasion when Praxis Business School is celebrating a decade in data science. It was in November of 2011 when Praxis Business School started India's first business analytics program. I request all of you to please take your seats, settle down, and please put your mobiles on silent mode. We are deeply honored to have in our midst Padmashri, Deepa Malik, Khel, Ratna and Arjuna awardee. Her story is a story of courage, determination and grit. I also take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Kamlesh Sajnani, Chairman, Praxis Business School Foundation. I now request Professor Shaidari Roy Chaudhary to present Mrs. Deepa Malik with a welcome bouquet. Jules Verne took us 20,000 leagues under the sea. Today, Dr. Prithwis Mukerjee will take us on a futuristic journey into the amazing Metaverse. So sit back, strap yourselves in and enjoy this voyage into the Metaverse. Dr. Mukerjee.
Good afternoon. Tomorrow's technology today. This has been the motto behind Praxis, starting a data science program 10 years ago when hardly anybody in India had heard of data science. So we started it, and it's been a long ride. My friend and colleague Charanpreet will talk about that ride just after me. But before that, so looking back 10 years, just look forward with 10 years. What is tomorrow's technology that's coming today? And that, my friends, is the Metaverse. Good afternoon again. My name is Prithwis Mukerjee, and I'm director in Praxis Business School, but I'm more of a Metaverse evangelist. I've been dabbling with the Metaverse for the last 10 years. Honestly, I'm not joking. So let us see what it looks like. So the word Metaverse exploded into our lexicon through two people. One is Mark Zuckerberg and the other is Satya Nadella. Microsoft Zuckerberg kicked off the ball saying that Facebook will become the Metaverse, and Mr. Nadella came along and said, we'll also be there. But what is the Metaverse? Where is the Metaverse? That is what we'll explore today, very, very briefly. So the Metaverse is a shared public space where multiple people can have social engagements with commercial interaction, in a digital environment. Look at the words public, social, commercial and digital. These add up to the Metaverse. Now, the Metaverse has been around since quite some time. It came with a novel called Snow Crash, when it was first talked about in the 1990s. In the early 2000s, there was a Second Life, Linden Lab, where I've been there, I've used it. That's how I got into the Metaverse. So that was 2005. The sudden excitement today is because of two new technologies. Not very new, but talked about. That is the Microsoft HoloLens and the Facebook Oculus. These are the hot things. And looking forward, we are looking at what is known as mind-controlled devices. That's not science fiction. It's actually happening. Let's talk about it. What is a shared social space? We are all familiar with Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter. There is a shared social space. There's no point in adding anything more to it. All of you know it very well. What is commercial space? Not shared. Flipkart, Amazon. We all go and buy things there. So if you put the two things together, do you get that shared space. Is that the metaverse? We are approaching it, not quite. There are two more components which are required to make the metaverse come alive. One is the concept of three-dimensionality, the sense of immersiveness. We are used to a screen on where we see things moving around. No, we want a 3D effect. That's number one. And number two is crypto assets or cryptocurrency, which you would have heard the name Bitcoin, which of course many governments are trying to ban, but it is fundamental to the economy of the metaverse. Okay? So crypto and 3D are the new things which are happening today. So let's take a look. This is one of the metaverse that you can visit right now, today. Place called Dream, Decentraland. Okay? Just go ahead and type decentraland.org, it will be there. You can log in as a guest. But if you log in really, you have to use an Ethereum crypto wallet. That's the crux of the matter. Your Ethereum wallet is your commercial identity in the metaverse. You, like Facebook, you can just go and say, I'm so and so. You can change your name. In Decentraland, you can change your name. Doesn't matter. You are tied to your Ethereum wallet. That is one of the fundamental things, is that without the connection, your login is through your wallet, not through your random ID and password. So that is very important. And you can see that I am logged in as Calcutta out here, and I have a wallet. Without this, I cannot log in, and this is going to be a very important thing. But you would say, how is it different from a game? We have all played computer games before. I mean, PUBG and this and that, all kinds of things are played. So what is different out here? Three things. First is the concept of ownership of digital assets. Ownership. It's not like I take an image, you're taking all photographs. But you can take a photograph, you can make a copy and somebody else. It's not ownership. You can go and fight in the courts, but you can't, I can easily copy an image file, a PNG file, or a MP3 file. I can copy it. Not so in the metaverse. With crypto, you can't. Just like, I can't sell, you can't take away my house or my car. It is registered to my name through a mechanism. Similarly, crypto ensures that ownership of digital assets, number one. Number two is extremely immersive experience. Immersive experience. It's like being immersed in the 3D world. That's number two. And the third thing is the storage and transfer of commercial value. Which means, I have an artifact, give it to you, you have to give something in return. It's a give and take. So it mimics the real world much more elegantly than what we normally do. That is why the feeling is very realistic. It's as if you are inside somewhere else. And that is what is the main things out here. The asset management of digital and crypto, and the ability to exchange assets. You've only heard of one asset called Bitcoin, and you know how expensive it is, but there are many other assets available. Non-fungible tokens, and of course many things are happening. This is going to drive the economy of the metaverse, and that is why Mark Zuckerberg is salivating over it. He sees a huge economy waiting to be tapped. How to get into it? He has his ways, others have the other ways. So this is it. And here comes the next trick in the box. The two things which Microsoft and Zuckerberg has brought to the table. The immersiveness. And unfortunately, I cannot show you this immersiveness because we are in the physical world. To do that, so I'm going to start a video. Can we have the video, please? You need devices like this. This is the Oculus. And see, the real world and the digital world has now merged. He is playing in the physical world and his opponent is in the digital world. They're playing ping pong, table tennis. This is where how the things are merging. Okay? And this is not science fiction. This is possible today. And in fact, it's been possible for the last 3-4 years. Okay? So you see how effective. And now he is going into a shooting mode. Obviously these games are all built on killing and shooting. Hopefully the social media will not be for killing and shooting. It will be more like friendly exchange. But you see, and this is it. And if you put on this lens, I haven't played this, my son has. He says it's so immersive that his heartbeat starts going up. It's as if he is really, doing it himself. He starts sweating, heartbeat goes up. All of these things happen. So this is one side. This is the Facebook Oculus approach to the immersive experience.
Now, as Alex mentioned,
this is the Microsoft site on HoloLens.
Look at this. Fully articulated hand tracking. And as
Welcome to my mixed reality home. This is the place where I have all the apps and content that I use every day. Let's check some of them out. Now, I've seen many people put on HoloLens for the first time, and the first thing people do when they put on the device is they reach out their hands and try and touch the holograms. And now, you can. Look at the way that the holograms are responding to my hand, almost inviting me to touch it. And in fact, I can just grab this corner to resize it. Or I can rotate it. Or move it. That's right. We are touching holograms. This is an app I've got called Spatial. All right, how about something that uses all 10 fingers? Well, to test that out, we built a piano. So here I can just play a chord, or I can play the keys one at a time.
Today, companies tackling the world's biggest problems are increasingly spread across the world, and the HoloLens lets us work together as if we were standing next to each other, face to face. To show you how that works, let me just flip into Spatial here with my HoloLens 2 and materialize the room. Hi, Jinnah.
Hi, Anand. Hey, everyone.
The physical world and the digital world are now coming together. There are many technologies doing this. Oculus is one, HoloLens is another one. NVIDIA is doing it, then Disney is doing it. So everybody's got into the game. There's also an Indian company which is doing it, a HoloSuit is called. They have built it for Indian Army. We never knew that the Army is so far advanced in these matters. So you see, this is the immersive experience which is essential for the metaverse. And this is, of course, Mark Zuckerberg's dream. Okay? I mean, he expects all of us to, jump in with our avatars. They're called avatars. These are, icons of a human being inside the digital lens. It's called avatar. It's based on the Hindu word avatar. Exactly shown there. Okay? So these avatars are playing around and, of course, making business, transacting business, and making Zuckerberg even more richer. The third thing is mind control or thought control. This is incredible. You see, there are many people, we have a madam out here with certain impairments, but there are other people who are even more impaired. Okay? And these wheelchairs are now available. This is not science fiction, it's 2010 by the way. Okay? Where with electrodes in your head, you can control the wheelchair without a physical hand or leg movement. Now this is rooted in a science fiction called Firefox, which I read during my college days, a thought-controlled aircraft. That has now become thought-controlled wheelchairs. Because for paraplegics, who can only have control over the neck, everything else is paralyzed, they can use this. Okay? This is available today. But we are going even more. Today we are having devices which allow you to play games. And now you see that the Decentraland kind of game can be played with this thought control devices. These are consumer devices. These are not ISRO or NASA devices. Very simple devices. Put on your head, it works. And you can control the game, shoot this, that, all of those things. Then from head to hand, we think all our knowledge is in the head. Not really. In the wrist, we have maximum information. That's how we do things. If I want to type, the information is here. So it's far easier to put up a smart wristband on your head, on your hand, and from there you can track what is happening in my mind. So the mind controls your wrist, and the device picks up from the wrist. And then of course you have the famous Neuralink, which for it grows hairs on your head. People like me, very little hair. Okay, so Tesla has said you can implant hairs in your head, and these hairs are not normal hairs; they're actually electrodes. They can sample my thoughts and make them work. So you see, this is what's going to happen next with thought control devices. Metaverse is going to be the new reality. So as we said, the metaverse is today we have it in virtual reality and then the controlled mind. So this is, friends, a look at what will be happening. Maybe another 10 years from now, we were here celebrating 20 years of data science in Praxis. This will be, reality. You will not be here also. Okay? You will be all virtual. Thank you very much. And you see, all this is done through data science. This entire technology is driven by neural networks, deep learning, and that is the subject of our school data science program. We are not anywhere near building a metaverse, but we prepare students who will build the metaverse. Okay? So with that, we'd like to end. If you have any questions, happy to answer, or perhaps we'll take questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mukerjee. So from the metaverse, we return to terra firma. Our next speaker is Professor Charanpreet Singh, founder and director of Praxis Business School Foundation. He will take us through Praxis Business School's path-breaking journey over the last decade.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful occasion that we are celebrating 10 years of data science. And one of the reasons we are celebrating is that we were, as was mentioned earlier, the first educational institution to start a formal education program in data science, because we felt at that point in time, the person you just heard, Dr. Prithwis Mukerjee, you would have guessed he's like a thought leader. He's always at the edge of what's happening in technology, and with his help, we kind of designed that program and ran it. So I'll just quickly take you through this, what has happened over the last 10 years, and let's see, and the kind of, oops, yes, sorry, yeah. So, before we talk about the 10 years, we've learned that when you're starting an institution or even working for an institution, one of the things we need to find out is why do we exist? I think, and then so what is our purpose? And then what do we do? How do we kind of execute that purpose? And then finally, what do we do on the ground? So very quickly, for Praxis, we truly believe that we can create high quality professionals who can become a part of an effective workforce for this digital world. So this is our belief, and this is why we exist, and this is why we want to exist for over the next 10 years or 20 years also. Right? Now, why do we think that we are capable of doing that, and how are we going to do that? Any learning needs a supportive ecosystem. Okay? And there are several components of that ecosystem. For me, one of the most important things in that ecosystem is the freedom to learn. Yeah? So we create an ecosystem which enables learning, right? Which makes our students stakeholders in that learning. And how we do it? We have a combination of, so there are three things that are there in learning. One is your curriculum, what do you teach? The second is your delivery, how do you teach? And the third is assessment. How do you assess your students? How do you know that they are progressing, that what we are teaching is making a difference? So if we have the right combination of these three, we create an effective learning system. So that's the how. And the last part, what do we really do? First of all, we have been lucky enough to find and retain a team of really accomplished faculty members who are running this program. And to support them, we have an equally excellent team, a non-academic team which handles our infrastructure, both physical and digital, that runs our programs, that gets the students that we want, that gets them career opportunities that they seek. So this is what we do on ground. We keep these people with us in the team, we work together, and we drive digital in everything we teach. So when COVID happened, I know a lot of educational institutions went through a lot of difficulty and all that, because suddenly physical teaching and physical classrooms came to a kind of an end. Luckily, because we were so digitally equipped, we made that transition overnight. And practically the next day we were online, our students were online. Yeah. So, and when we say we drive digital and everything, we are a business school. So we teach finance, we teach management, we teach HR. Even in these subjects, we have a strong digital component, because today if you are in marketing, if you have to become a successful marketing professional, you need to be accomplished in digital marketing. If you want to be part of finance, I think Prithwis already talked about cryptocurrency. So if you are not equipped with the knowledge of fintech, I think in future to be an effective finance professional, you need to have that knowledge. So we try to ensure that irrespective of the function, irrespective of the course that the student wants to learn, we drive digital in that, because we believe that's the future. And finally, after starting the data science program, we launched 2 more programs, one in cybersecurity, the other in data engineering, because we believe that we have to keep pace with the way the world is changing, and we need to create professionals for this very dynamic digital world. So we actually have now figured out a way of kind of identifying what needs to be taught and quickly turning them around into programs and bringing them to the students. So the journey, we are very fond of it, so I'll just share it for about 2-3 minutes. We started in 2007. We had an initial academic collaboration with XLI in Chennai, which is one of the top business schools in Calcutta. So this is how our campus looked. Those 3 people are our first batch students, all doing very well. And this is how, this is what we look like now. So it looks a much better equipped campus than it is. It's in the, it's very lush. It's on Bakrahat Road, close to Joka. In 2011, we started our first full-time program in business analytics. And in 2011, we were just a 4-year-old educational institution. In terms of educational institutions, we were a baby. And at that point in time, ICICI Bank endorsed our dean's chair. They gave us a grant because they felt that we were doing good things, and they wanted to support us. And they continued this relationship for 6 long years. Right? So 2011, in that sense, this was a great honor. And in that sense, 2011 is like a milestone year in our journey. And this is, I remember we had this panel discussion on the 6th of August in 2011. We have gentlemen from ICICI Bank, the head of their analytics program, Joe, in that discussion. And on November 8th, we had started our program. And then in 2016, we realized that if you have to be part of the data science community, you have to be in Bangalore, because that's where most of the work gets done. It's the epicenter of data science activity. So we started a Bangalore center, and so this is one of the classrooms in our Bangalore center. And then in 2016, in January, we started our second batch. Previously, we used to have only a July batch. We started 2 batches of data science in 2016. In 2018, we renamed the business analytics program to data science for two reasons. One is, the curriculum had changed so much. It had kind of traveled the journey from business analytics to data science. And secondly, I think the buzzword also had become data science. So we wanted to visit that, and we changed the name. And in 2019, we started a full-time program in cybersecurity, which is run out of Sector 5. And in 2021, just this July, we launched another program in data engineering. So this has been, our academic journey. So these are the 4 programs we run. You will see all those logos. We partnered industry. Because the industry, I think both can learn from each other. We help the industry with great resources. The industry helps us with what's happening in the real world. So they help us design curriculum. They give us feedback on how our students do. And it's a symbiotic relationship. So some of the accomplishments right now, as our PGDM program is ranked 2 in Calcutta and 6th in East India. This is the 2021 survey of the Times of India. I met a gentleman here and he was saying that you guys are not very well known, and which is true. So we do a lot of things, but we are not very vocal about it. So which is like I think it's time that we started speaking about it. And in the PGDM, which is the management program, if you look at our specializations, lot of analytics, lot of data behind those specializations. So these are not. So I'm not learning marketing. I'm learning consumer insights and market intelligence, which is directly connected to the kind of jobs that are out there in the market today, right? And data science, we have these 2 corporates. PwC and ICSI Bank for knowledge support. And by happy coincidence, just 2 days back or 3 days back, we have been ranked the best data science program in the country. Right? This is by the Analytics India magazine, which is the most reliable, kind of medium for data science and analytics. So we were little surprised and very thrilled to see that ranking, because behind us there are some very big brands, and we don't want to show the ranking because we don't want to show those brands in any different light, right? But this gives us a lot of courage. And it also inspires us to do better in the future. So this has been our 8th. In 2011, we started with 8 students because pretty much nobody knew what data science was. Now we have graduated 25 plus batches. We have a total intake of more than 150 students across Bangalore and Kolkata every year. There are enough jobs. I always say, and I think both of us always believe, our entire team believes, that if you have the right skills, there are lots of jobs, right? So, we have people get good salaries. I don't want to get into details. We can talk about it offline. In fact, I will tell you one thing. Last year in COVID, we were ourselves a little apprehensive, but because of COVID, I think the digital transformation or digital journey has kind of accelerated big time. So the requirement for trained professionals in these areas has actually galloped. So we had 92 companies coming to Praxis over the course of the last 1.5 years to recruit students. So that's the kind of demand, and that's the kind of recognition our program has today. So yeah, and the other thing, I always feel a little sad. I'm a Calcutta. I was born here. I feel a little sad when so many students leave Calcutta and Bengal to study. So we are kind of trying to, reverse the trend. We have students from all across India for our data science program. So if you come to the Praxis Mess, you're all invited. You can hear Tamil and Telugu and Malayali and Marathi spoken in the mess. So it's a good thing to do, right? I mean, we need to reverse, because I still think Calcutta is the intellectual capital of India, and I think we need to work with that, right? And then we started this data engineering program, which is now part-time, and cybersecurity program. Okay. And what do we want to do? We want to make our students learn how to think. We don't want to tell them what to think. That's, they have the freedom to think what they want to. But we want to train them to become better thinkers. Because that's when they will be able to analyze data better. That's how they will be able to make better decisions. And we also want to teach them to learn how to learn. Because technology is changing so fast that you have to, even after, once they graduate from Praxis in 2 years, there will be new technologies which they haven't learned at Praxis. They should be able to learn them quickly. So they need to kind of equip themselves with the skill of learning quickly. And that, it can't be taught like that, but if your assessment is properly tuned, and if you expose them to different kind of projects, you can actually help people become better learners. Right? And one is the hard skills, technology, data skills, then also the soft skills, communication, ability to collaborate, ability to, let's say, be critical thinkers. So, one of the things that we feel all data scientists should be, they should be skeptical. They should not believe what they see. They need to get hard evidence to believe. So, as they say, having a good reason to believe what you believe. Yeah. So that is part of the soft skills, highly required. And the other program outcome is that it converts, it helps the students convert the opportunities, the campus placements that happen, convert them into jobs. Right? And finally, to contribute to nation building and to the ecosystem at Praxis, because our alumni is highly connected to Praxis, and they help both us with the feedback of what's happening in the world, and they also help our existing students, by supporting them. So these are our program outcomes. And there are two things that we are getting into now, which is corporate training. We have a vertical, we are and it's doing really well. And eventually, we also want to get into some kind of advisory consulting, if we can help smaller organizations, kind of understand digital and get into their digital transformation journeys. We'll be happy to help them. And now, we have. One of the things that happens in these batches is that the percentage of women does not represent the percentage of women in the world, right? So we don't have, let's say, a batch with 50% women. It's usually much fewer than 50%. And both from our side as well as from the side of the recruiters, we want more women to be part of this whole, the whole digital, thing that is happening in the world today. So we have a commitment to that. We want to help women and encourage and empower women to participate. So there are 2 or 3 things that we have done. One is we have signed an MOU with Catalyst, which is an NGO that works for economic empowerment of women. They actually adopt all women that go into engineering colleges who are not from very affluent backgrounds and they need help. And they actually help them across their journey through engineering and post-engineering as well. So our data engineering program has about 70% students who are women from the Catalyst community who want to study further and become leaders in this whole digital economy that we have. We have recently signed up an MOU with Change Initiatives, which is another NGO which drives digital literacy. So we believe that we need to have women participation in this right from the STEM, the mathematics and the physics, and they need to look at science as an option. And so this Change Initiative, so we partner them and we help them take digital literacy to government schools, and there also the focus is girls' schools in government schools. And finally, we also have an MOU with Aspire for Her, which is again for young women, and their basic mission is that women should look at careers seriously and should not give up their careers. They should be financially independent, and they should see it's not just about being financially independent. They should contribute to our economy. Both, they are already contributing, but let them also contribute in the corporate space or the government space actively, right? So these are the three initiatives we have, and finally, we will also, launching a Women in Tech scholarship program. So basically, walking the talk. So any woman who is eligible and gets selected in any of the 4 programs that we showed you gets a scholarship, which basically means that the cost of the education comes down substantially. And for this, I'm going to stop here and ask Saurav to take over from here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Singh. We would also like to take this opportunity to share videos sent by our alumni who have been part of Praxis' journey and have studied the data science programs. Can we have the videos, please?
I congratulate Praxis for completing 10 years in successfully creating young data scientists, and for this postgraduate program being ranked as #1 amongst all the full-time postgraduate programs in data science in the country. When I joined Praxis, I found the course was immersive and the learning ecosystem is one where you're not expected to have any prior knowledge of the subjects and are taught everything right from the very basics. Praxis has a very unique blend of faculty members consisting of academicians and industry experts. Praxis also has a very structured campus placement mechanism. The capstone projects are one of the best in the industry, where students get to think and work on advanced projects and live assignments. The professors and alumni are very helpful in every situation, whether it is related to subjects, projects, placements, or career counseling. Praxis has helped me to reshape my career. Now, I'm working as a full-time data scientist at Genpact, which would not have been possible without the faculty and the placement team of Praxis.
Parameters, I chose Praxis, and that was the game changer for me. So, talking about my experience at Praxis, I would say this course is so beautifully crafted with key concepts, and we get a lot of hands-on experience on real case studies. But I would be honest, this course is not a cakewalk. This 9 months course, it's so rigorous and so complex. One has to have that courage and commitment to continuously learn new things. One thing that kept me going during this course was my curiosity to explore and learn new things. And of course, you have this amazing faculty who would constantly motivate you and guide you and give you the right direction. One more thing that I would want to highlight is that this course teaches you how to learn, which ultimately improves your thinking ability. And this is of utmost importance not only during the course but also in corporate.
I would basically like to say thanks to Praxis to help us build a strong foundation in machine learning, statistics, not only these, but also using tools such as Python, R, SQL, SAS, even visualization tools such as Tableau, ClickSense. We also touched upon cloud, Google Cloud Platform. And in the last 2.5 years, I have never come across any tool or technique that I have not already been taught at Praxis. So thank you to all the faculty, especially Gaurav sir, to stay updated and also while doing that, impart all that knowledge to all the students at Praxis.
Thank you. We at Praxis are committed to diversity and inclusivity both on campus and in the workplace. Our constant effort is to encourage women to take up careers in tech. One of the big initiatives in this regard is the institution of the Women in Tech or the WiT Scholarship. I request our chief guest, Madam Deepa Malik, to unveil the WiT Scholarship. She herself is a key spokesperson for women's empowerment, and I think she's probably the best person to unveil the WiT Scholarship. I now request our chief guest to kindly address the audience.
Okay. Before I begin my address, may I request you to put that slide of yours, which is a timeline slide, the journey.
Okay.
If you can get that slide, meanwhile I'll do my courtesies. If you can request them to get that slide. The one in which you have your whole journey. Which year? 2011, 2000, yeah, that. So meanwhile, I must extend my greetings to Dr. Prithwis Mukerjee, Director of Praxis Business School, Charanpreet Singh, Founder, and Kamlesh Ratna, Founder and Chairman. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and making me a part of this beautiful celebration of knowledge, celebration of thinking ahead of time, and celebration of joining an organization which has vision for building India for future, and which is also a first. So it's indeed an honor to associate with yet another first in India. I have a lot of firsts in my bag, so I automatically connect with you there. And I have asked you to play this slide because when I was learning about Praxis and its journey, I almost had goosebumps because this is exactly my journey. I didn't know that, I think we were meant to be and we were meant to cross our paths because it can't be more similar than this timeline. And before I even go to this timeline, let me also share that coming to an education institute, when I myself got educated in city of Kolkata, I did my 11th and 12th here. I learned all my leadership qualities and my love for sports. Everything happened here. I was the school captain of Kendriya Vidyalaya, Fort William. I have studied there for 2 years, and they were years of major learning and major transformation. My first ever English movie, or my first ever inter-school debate competition, my first ever going to a college fest when I had come to attend Xavier's Fest as the honored students who were taken from the school. So a lot of firsts for me happened here in Kolkata. I even won my first swimming competition in Army, the Eastern Command Swimming Competition Trophy in Kolkata. So a lot of memories, a lot of firsts for me here. And of course, I'm born in Bangalore. So that's another connect I have. So Kolkata and Bangalore are very important cities in my life. Now if I take you through this timeline, 2007 was the first time I thought of joining athletics, because I joined my sporting career as a swimmer. But 2007 I had gone to Taiwan for the first time, experimenting if I was alright to play in athletics. Then 2011 I won my first World Championship medal in New Zealand. That was also the first medal for India when a woman in athletics or across any sport won a medal for the country. And that was really a changing moment, because post that, all my requests, all my projects which I was trying to present to Government of India, talking about para sports and Paralympic sports, they were seriously considered, and by 2012 I was made a member in the 5-year Planning Commission as appointed by the HRD Division of Sports Ministry. So 2011 medal was a very crucial medal. 2016, I'm known for that. The Rio Paralympic medal happened in 2016. And 2019 was again the first Khel Ratna awarded to a woman in Paralympics. So that was the highest scoring honor. And 2021, we have just heard all the achievements of Tokyo 2020, which we brought home in 21. And I got an opportunity to be the president of Paralympic Committee of India and lead from front and bring about those changes, and it makes me very proud and happy that I am sitting here and we're talking about our new India, India at 75. The vision of New India is global India, where we are at par. We are steering ahead in every field, be it sports, be it technology, be it science. And as I was going through the presentation, I'm very happy to share with you that the experience of being immersed into a virtual sport, I'm very proud that we introduced this for our shooters, we introduced this for our table tennis player, and you can see the result in terms of medals. Because COVID pandemic struck and our athletes were losing hope, and that's when the virtual world became our strength. We started hosting webinars, we started educating our athletes to use the web world and the power of internet and the web. We started educating them to learn through the videos that were present in the virtual world, download them, practice with them, and especially the shooters had this application on their laptops where they were shooting and the target was on the screen of the laptop, and they could practice sitting right in their home because they could not go to the ranges and use the live ammunition. So this technology has helped us have a woman win a gold medal in the history of India when Avni went and picked up a gold and a bronze. This has the robotic applications used by Bhavina Patel has helped us empower a woman into sport and make her thrash Chinese to defeat. You have to see her, matches, and when you talk to her, it was a technology which came to her rescue. Now I'll talk about Sumit Until. Sumit Until needed 3 different prosthetic limbs, and when he walks, he's an amputee, our world record holder, gold medalist from Tokyo. If I take his example, he needs 1 prosthetic to walk, 1 prosthetic to do his heavy gym training, and the third is an athletic prosthetic limb in which he runs and throws the javelin. And you'll be surprised, we had to take him to the high performance computer electrode center where they applied all the electrodes to him, and on the virtual screen actually saw where the exact pressure is, and on basis of that technology his prosthetic leg was built. So this is how it is important not only in our daily lives, but as a sportswoman I can also understand. And when in 2016 I was actually world number 2, already taken 2 Asian records and 2 Asian medals in javelin. But in 2016 my event changed from a 600 gram, a very light equipment to throw, which is a speed event. I had to transit into a short putter. Short put is a heavy ball, and in my body the coach was not able to understand how to make me do heavy weight exercises because my spine is totally cut. I have chest pillow paralysis, I don't have a bladder or a bowel control, I don't have torso balance. If I'm trying to exercise and lift both my arms, I roll over and I fall over. So once again I was taken to check on my biomechanics. And biomechanics is nothing but, again, this kind of data analysis as to what part and what muscle is active, where we can see a twitch, where we can see a reaction, and on basis of that technology, my exercises were made. So, in short, what I'm trying to say here is that it is very important today, in today's world, for each one of us to accept that we will have a virtual interface in our daily routine. We have knowingly or unknowingly got absorbed into this, and pandemic has further reiterated the need of learning the virtual world, having these immersible experiences, and you'll be surprised, as I was surprised, video gaming is a full-fledged event in forthcoming Asian Games. And the way people with disability are now able to experience different sport. We've heard of MP as the Mobile Premier League, and I feel that this is a very good option and alternative for people with less mobility to actually experience different types of sports virtually. But like you said, I hope more of it is used to enhance capabilities rather than killing. So that is something I would definitely look forward to. And now coming to the purpose that I'm here for. When I won my medal in 2016, there was a lot of cheering that finally a woman from India has won their first historic medal. It was a moment of paradox for me. I was happy and sad at the same time because, one, yes, I created history, but what took India 72 years to make a medal in the women categories? That needs to be given a thought. And it is very important for us women also to become a part, hone a skill. And then I realized how many women are actually playing. So the number of medals do not depend on the population of a country. It depends on the playing population of the country. And then we further divide it into gender as to how many men are playing, how many women are playing. Similarly is the case with technology. Now once I won the medal, then people understood the challenges and the challenges around women playing sports in disability were heard. New policies were formed. And you see the result. In 2016, there were only 2 women who participated. One was in a wild card entry. But now when we talk about 2020 Tokyo, we have 14 women participating, out of which 2 more women have won 3 medals for the country. Similarly, and once a woman in leadership role came on board, she was able to influence policies. She was able to put forward a need of a woman. So I very strongly feel that unless more and more women will become part of any course, any syllabus, any organization, the policies will always be very male-driven, because all the thought processes, all the data collections, all the points put forward will come from the mental framework of a man. So the needs of the woman, or the making the ecosystem more cordial for women to come and participate will only happen when more women come out there and become a part of decision making, give their contribution in analysis. So even I think now that of what I have understood of data science is that whenever you are buying something, you are trying to look for the feedback or the nature of a product being purchased as a homemaker, or so I will always be buying the thing which has been put forward on the perspective from a male mind. Maybe that particular feedback is not appropriate for me, being a woman. So it's very important for us women also to understand. And I think I always say, whenever I'm talking about women empowerment, I say that the health of a nation and the growth of a nation is always judged by how the women and the physically challenged of that nation are being treated or given opportunities. I take this moment to extend my gratitude to the founders and the chairpersons and chairmen over here, that you have created a scholarship encouraging women participation in the studies of data science, because that is the future. And that is where our country's growth lies. And very fortunate that you have chosen me as a role model to further this. So I hope when people, and especially the girls, hear of this scholarship and when they hear that this scholarship is launched by a woman who herself has gone through a journey where she has broken stereotypes, she has risen above all adversities to fight any challenge, whether it was learning the new body at the age of 30, when the repetitive tumors left me with 200 stitches, 7 vertebral column totally chopped, no bladder, no bowel control, a mindset of the society where one feels that if you are in a wheelchair, you are wheelchair bound. You are supposed to sit in a room because if you can't control your urine and your stool, you are not supposed to be traveling or stepping out. But I'm glad that I was brought up in a way where I was told that the most important thing in life is adaptability, acceptance of change, and the will to continuously learn and find solutions. And that's exactly what I have done. I have continued to understand my requirements of the body. I have adapted to the changes. I have learned how to manage this body, and also understood that I am that one citizen of India who will not just sit in a wheelchair and talk about her rights, but will also talk about her duties, because I am equally responsible to become a part of the growth of my nation. If I demand certain things from my country, it is my duty to give back in any form. And that's where I feel that each one of us, and especially the women, need to hone a skill. I can't walk, I can't stand, but I have made 135 crore Indians stand up for the national anthem every time I have won a medal. From this body, I have given 68 national golds to my state and 23 international medals for my country. So if from this body, starting a career at the age of 40 years, going on to win an Asian medal and an Arjuna award at 42 years, a Paralympic medal at 46 years, the highest sporting honor at 49 years, and at 50, now I am learning because I rooted for policies, and in that there was a lot of confusion that now that she has become a Khel Ratna at 49 years, the sports policy ends at around 28 years, and they have been able to stretch it only till 40 years because they don't expect somebody to win a medal at 49. And so they still nominated me as a special case, and they have made me a director in HARERA, that is the Haryana RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Authority. And I have to run mediation court. So at 50, I'm learning law, real estate regulations. I'm continuously learning. And in pandemic, I had to transit from the role of an athlete to the role of an administrator. I had become a president. Nobody ever taught me how to run a federation in the time of pandemic because nobody had ever done that. But we looked for solutions, we found out ways to do that, and India has created history by 19 medals, which has been the highest haul of medals at any Olympics or Paralympics. So the crux of the thing is that there is no gender, no age, no disability that should become a barrier in the process of learning. And women also have to now start thinking of giving back to the society. They have to break the stereotypes, rise above the stereotypical myths that women can't do this. You know, I was attending a women convention in Singapore, and that was a bankers' women convention. So you can imagine all the ladies out there were very thinking minds, they were analytical minds, they were very maths-driven minds. And from all over the world, And there was, I'm forgetting the name of the lecturer, but a lady from Harvard University had come. And she took a simple test. And she just had certain pictures flash. And everybody was supposed to press the buzzer as to, so it was some activities were shown and options of names were given. For example, if it was a visual of somebody doing a baking, then the items of like kitchen utensils were kept and names were given, Max and Monica. And then there was a visual of a flat tire and Matthew or Amy. And imagine that was an international setup. And all were accomplished women who had traveled from across the world, and we were 800 of us in a room in a convention center. And yet the final analysis of that study was that if there was a flat tire, it had to be a Matthew. If it was a baking dish tray, then it had to be an Amy. I don't know why we ourselves, and that was a women convention. So I am totally impressed by the quote that you have by your celebrate your worth. So it is time that women start celebrating their worth, because I very strongly feel that people will look at you the way you look at yourself. As long as I was lying in the bed with tubes for urine and stool in my body and believing that this is the end for me, I was called a disabled liability of a person who is nothing but the source of sadness and discomfort to the family. But the day I took charge, I learned, I took out solutions, I started honing skills, educating myself for new things. I am now called the first woman ever to win a medal at Asian Games, World Championships, Paralympics, the first Indian rallist, biker, swimmer, so many record holders. It's only because I was ready to break the stereotype. I was ready to pursue my dreams, believing myself that I can learn new skills and I can do this. And that is the belief I want to infect all women in science and data science, and I want them to come and use this opportunity which is so beautifully is being offered. I compliment Praxis for initiating this and involving and giving opportunity. And as they say, opportunity knocks at your door. Winners are those who have the courage to walk through the door. So please have courage. Please come forward, all the women out there, a big shout out, and make full benefit of this lovely scholarship that has been launched. And since I have launched it, I expect more and more women to come forward. Thank you so much for having me here. And I also take this opportunity to thank the media. And I think this is the first time I'm coming to this. I had received the trophy in the courier. The Calcutta Journalists Club had sent a trophy calling me the most inspiring woman of the year. So thank you media, thank you Calcutta, thank you Kolkata, thank you for this.
Thank you madam for such an inspiring and illuminating speech. We are truly overwhelmed, and as we bring the proceedings to an end, I request Mr. Kamlesh Sachnani, Chairman, Praxis Business School Foundation, to deliver the closing address.
Thank you. Such a wonderful and inspirational speech, and I hope our journey continues further in the future also. So guys, thank you very much for being here. I'm basically from Bombay, but I love Calcutta. It is my second home. I've been visiting it for quite some time and I still enjoy it, and it is one place where it is cold in winter, right? So it's nice for me to come here. Bombay is generally very stable. I have suddenly developed a new respect for people who are gamers online. Earlier my son used to play games and I used to tell him why you're wasting your time. But looking at what the future is going to be, I think he's doing a good job. So currently, I was looking at some statistics. There are 2 million Indians who are logged on to these games online. And this is one of the largest numbers even amongst the developed economies. Okay. The second very interesting fact that I learned a few days ago was that India has written 30 million lines of AI and ML code. And there we are topping the rank. We are even above the developed economies over there in terms of the number of codes that we are writing or lines that we are writing. So this is a very interesting time. The third thing that I learned very recently and which is connected to our Women in Technology scholarships is that in 2021, the ratio of males to females in India has changed dramatically. Now we have 1,022 females per 1,000 males. So males, you're going to have a good time now. Right? So all these things, you see how the world is changing, how India is changing. It's very interesting. It's very lively. There are a couple of things, without taking too much of your time, I would like to tell you about Praxis. Although it's a very young institution, and we believe that people who lead these institutions have to be from themselves, from quality institutions. And since Dr. Mukerjee and since Dr. and Professor Charanpreet are not going to say it, I'm going to say it, that they are both IITians. They are both people who have studied abroad. They are exposed to global practices and processes, and they have both decided to remain in Calcutta and ensure that they bring quality education here. One can even visit our website of Praxis Business School and check out other faculty members. They are extremely contributory, very, very prominent in their own field. On the other hand, while people do say that students must go to institutions that have great profs, I doubt if students ever look up what faculty is teaching them. So it's very odd, it's very funny, but it's one thing that we must bear in mind. Second thing is that, it's always been the north, south and the west of the country which kind of gets the best institutions, has a lot of corporates coming over there. Then why not the east? And one of the reasons we set up our institution in Calcutta, of course, was the people who were contributing to it, but most importantly that Calcutta should become an important venue for national and international organizations to come here and look for talent. Right? So we have very few institutions in this region, and I'm very glad and very happy that Praxis is one of those institutions that is contributing. And it's not about industry, but now the whole story is changing. It's all being online, it's all technology. So I think that by bringing in more institutions and being giving more prominence to institutions in the East, from the technological perspective, could be a game changer for the Eastern region. And finally, and very importantly, is that women are important, right? In any aspect of our life. If we can bring them into the mainstream of jobs, of careers, of leadership, I think we will change the GDP of our country. If we have more women, actually, we have 50% of our population, we assume is women. And today, even if 25% additional women contribute, then whatever dreams we have of as many trillions as we want to have in our GDP, we can easily have. And that is an important fact behind which we have launched this Women in Technology. I would like to now thank, whatever I have to say, I said, but what I would now do is like to thank ma'am for coming here and giving such a wonderful, inspirational thought to everybody who is sitting over here. Charanpreet, Dr. Mukerjee, thank you very much for being a part of this institution, and Prithwis, you have always led from the front. So just before I complete this, Prithwis had told me about 12 years ago, when he had joined Praxis, that I should buy Bitcoin, and I told him, what Bitcoin are you talking about? And today I regret it. Okay? So actually what he's saying next 10 years is going to happen. If he says, do this, please do it. It will be wonderful if you believe it. I would like to thank all our staff, who have contributed to this institution. Press, for you to be here all morning and be a part of this program. Thank you very much, very kind of you. Saurabh, you've done a fantastic job. All the people behind this organization and effort, I would like to thank you, and it has been so nice to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your words of encouragement. With that, we now open the floor to questions. So there will be mics which will be passed around, and you can please ask your questions.
Course fee.
Course fee.
For the data science program, it's about 6 lakhs.
6 lakhs for 1 year.
For 9 months.
Only 9 months.
9 months full time.
Job opportunities.
Massive.
Guaranteed job opportunity.
We don't guarantee because we don't give jobs. Right? The companies give jobs, but the demand is much more than the supply. So our students have no problem in getting jobs, and it's all happening at the campus.
This previous the situation of data scientists in India, are there enough or there is shortage of data scientists?
Massive shortage. And this shortage has actually become even larger with this whole digitalization during the COVID period. Right now, previously there were fewer large companies, who are always at the edge of technology, who are adopting all this. Now, other companies also realize that there's no way they can compete unless they become data centric, they become data driven, and for that we need these skills. So, every company is building a data science team.
I was curious, in terms of AI, what are the latest trends which is shaping up data science?
See, AI is an extension of data science.
Right.
You begin with simple things in data science, then it progresses into deep learning, neural networks, and that is AI. So there you have the entire universe of thought control devices, automated vehicles, self-driving vehicles, everything. So data science is an intermediate step towards AI.
Very good afternoon. Entire Praxis team, congratulations. You have done the thing which would have been expected out of Kolkata much earlier than the things. Because ISI was the data analytical center of India, and it is the extension of that in the application front. Congratulations, sir. My question is something different. You are talking of data science, you are talking of data engineering. What are the tools you are using? Is it Python, Industry 4.0, you are doing Hadoop, or you are doing with Beekeeper, Zoo, or whatever the tools you are taking care of the students?
I think we have all the tools to named. That if everything is taught here. We begin with Python, we have Hadoop, we have Spark, we have HBase. I can give you a laundry list of tools. All of them are used, and we use what is known as the cloud platform. So we do not have physical infrastructure. We connect to it either in AWS, Amazon, or in Microsoft Azure, and you name it, I will say yes on that. I am reasonably sure of saying yes on that.
So that's fantastic, because it's a pretty comprehensive things to cover in 9 months. Those who have worked on Linux or Unix platform, they can understand what does it mean, and at least as Java latest technology knowledge is very much important to do the coding, and even Python is there, it's very good. Now my next question would be, you are talking of deep learning, AI and other things. So data modeling is a very important part of it. So if you are not able to do the right data modeling for a particular scenario of the problem, ultimately it will not face the right context and right answer for the people. Say for example, if you are searching a particular movie in YouTube, the suggested similar kind of movies are also coming up. For my fraternity, I am giving an example to them to understand. Or even a credit rating, which you are talking of the financial institution. ICICI Bank was your partner in the initial journey. So post UPI and addition of the transaction fraud for financial sector is very much high. Now it is almost cybercrime is happening everywhere. Since it is a cyber security week, so we can expect that the students out of Praxis not only become a very good professional in their own career, but also guide the society as a whole to create a good social networking platform within themselves and their friends to aware people about the risk factors involved in their online transactions. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, please.
Yeah.
If you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, Mr. Bergman from Indian Express. It's not a very technical question. It's for Deepa Madam. Congratulations on your stupendous achievements despite adversities. I just wanted to seek a suggestion or advice. Do you advise gender equality or parity in Indian sport? Because there's been a transformation overseas in the corporate boards of gender equality. So I just wanted sort of a response from your end.
See, India has definitely changed. We have seen such huge role models emerging in the world of sports in the women's field. You talk about the hockey team, you talk about badminton, you talk about wrestling, you talk about boxing, archery. I mean, you name a sport. In my own Paralympics, you see, even in canoeing, for the first time we had taken Prachi Yadav. And that was a wild card entry, but she was on one of the finalists, beating the USA girl from whom she had borrowed the canoe. So, so it is a very fast emerging thing. I think stereotype has changed. You just heard Sir say that even the ratio of man-woman is fast changing in India. So, I'm very happy that I witnessed this change. And I think media, kudos to them, whether it is para sports or whether it is hailing and celebrating achievements of women achievers. And as a sports person and as a person who is now in a leadership role, I think I take this as a very big opportunity to sincerely thank media, because now we see equal amount of coverage given to other sports, Olympic sports, Paralympic sports, as much as you celebrate cricket. So this is also a huge turnaround that has happened. Again, another bit that I would add about AI and data and everything. I remember I had become a brand ambassador. Of course, my thought behind becoming a brand ambassador is also bring about an inclusive atmosphere in the country where people in India also can look up to people in disability or achievers in disability as brand ambassadors. So that is one journey that I really pursue. But when I had to choose which brand to propagate and promote, I had done an ad for a coding company. I'm not taking the name here. But when I did that, I got a lot of trolling. That you are telling children to sit in front of a screen and not telling them to play. Now I say there are two distinctions between playing and being educated. Playing doesn't mean you don't get educated. And education, if you are promoting a virtual world or data analysis, you are not saying that don't play, because a fit mind will always be in a fit body. So the two things are please different. And the person who had trolled me the most finally reached out to me to apologize and said, ma'am, thank you. Because of you, my child insisted to get enrolled in this fun program of coding. And then the pandemic hit, and it was very easy for my child to transit into virtual classrooms and focus, because it already fallen in love with this kind of setup of virtual world in a positive way. So there is always, a good side of it, and very proud to say that I have also ventured into an artificial intelligence world where I have recorded for an artificial intelligence equipment which becomes the voice of a car. So I am also experimenting and trying to promote this new technology in the minds of common people, because it is inevitable. We are already in it, and the sooner we accept and adapt, the better and good it is for the progress of your own self, your own world, and also the country.
I think the question was that is this program part-time or full-time? So it's a full-time 9-month program, and about 90% of our students are working professionals, so they resign their jobs, and then they jump because they're looking at a career shift. Because they hit the ceiling, these kind of jobs where they don't see that kind of growth. They realize that if they have to work for the next 25, 30 years, they need to learn this, the new age technology. So we have people coming from very good academic backgrounds and very good companies who need their jobs.
Most of them are tech.
Yeah, so they are, I think about 80% of them are BTechs and BEs and engineers, but we have BScs also. We have EcoStat math also. We have had people from the commerce stream also with CA and CFA and interest in math. So basically, you have to be good with numbers. Yeah, so those are different. So we have scholarships where we don't make a distinction between men and women. So we have two kinds of scholarships. One is the means come merit scholarship. So if you come from a less privileged background, then surely that scholarship is almost up to 50% of the fee. Yeah, but if you are otherwise, but for a woman, who gets selected for this program and is from a regular background, we still want more women to apply and even our recruiters want to see more women. In fact, they come and ask us, how many women do you have in your batch? Because even in their organizations there is a gentle nudge that let's have more diversity. So that's a good trend. Yes, they have people on board for this. People take loans. I mean, a lot of people get loans for this. In fact, there are some organizations which give a sabbatical for this program. They allow the people to go for 9 months to the course.
Thank you very much for such an interactive session. Lunch is served. We request all of you to join us for lunch.
Hi, I'm Deepa Malik, Padmashri, Khel, Ratna and Arjuna awardee, and I'm absolutely overwhelmed to be here celebrating the 10th anniversary of the data science program as introduced for the first time in India by Praxis Business School, who have been visionary and have thought it much ahead of times, and last 2 years have proved to us that how important it is to be in the know-how of data science and data analyticals, because practically the whole world has survived the pandemic digitally. This has become a very essential part of every field of life, whether we talk about daily household things to be bought online or the pattern of consumers. Even as a sportswoman, I have seen how important it is to get digitalized and get aware of the technology, which is virtual technology. It has kept our training going, it has kept us in communication, it has helped us get the right high performance data analysis for our athletes. The virtual applications have helped them train in shooting. Robotics have been used for practicing in table tennis, even for availing the right kind of technology in the right kind of wheelchair, biomechanic arm. I think everywhere the data science has become predominant. So my message to all the students of Praxis Business School, the way the caption says, know your worth. Please know your worth, because what you are doing is building the new India. So take pride in the education that you have. Use it to create more innovative ideas of progress in the world, keeping the values of humanity alive. That is very important, because it is very, very responsible role when you are taking humanity into a virtual world. It should be taken along with the values attached to it. I also take this opportunity to thank the directors, Charanpreet Mukerjee, sir, that you have invited me and made me a part of Women in Technology Scholarship launching today, encouraging women empowerment through education, encouraging them to come forward and become an integral part of the growth of the nation. Very important for women to come and be a part, because only then can we have a balanced outlook in any kind of data analysis. And lastly, will love to thank them for this contribution that the institution has done towards wheeling happiness. This will be used in assisting a person with disability with the right, either the prosthetic aids or the right kind of nutrition or the correct wheelchair and even some medicines and diapers. We work aggressively in the rural areas for upliftment of people with disabilities. This will be used with a lot of value addition to some life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.